See. Oh, okay, great. We are live. So it's just 7 o'clock. I will give a few minutes for anyone who wants to join us. That this you find this information and the resources here to be the perfect place to start your journey today. So we're going to be talking about the deep breath. I want to talk a little bit about anatomy to explain why there is this benefit of taking the deep breath. So I think we're aware that we have like lungs generally in this part of our body. Our heart is here in this part of our body. And then the third part, the third landmark to talk about a structure is the diaphragm, and that runs underneath our ribs at the bottom of our ribs. And when we take a deep breath, our diaphragm contracts and it falls into the belly of our body. So it pulls our lungs down and creates space in them and draws, and then air is drawn in, or we draw our own air in. So I want to talk about that anatomy because there's a lot of internal massaging of our organs that happens in this very beautiful thing called the deep breath. So I was just talking about the diaphragm. And so when that contracts, it's going to go into the abdomen. And when we do that, we gently squish into our large intestines, which are like this giant, all of this space in here is filled up with our intestines. We have the other thing that is attached into this area is our sac that's around our heart. So we have our heart, generally it's about the size of our fist, and then around it there is this protective, some medicinal practices believe that it's its own organ. It's called the pericardium, and there is a piece of the pericardium that attaches to the diaphragm. So when we are taking our intentional, slow, deep breath, and the diaphragm goes lower, away from the heart, the pericardium is attached to that, and it actually squeezes and hugs the heart as it goes down. So when we are taking that deep breath, the pericardium is stretched just a little bit, and it comes in contact a little bit closer and a little bit tighter to our heart. So we're actually giving our heart a little massage, a little hug, and support. So that deep breath, when we take in, we're filling our lungs and we're hugging our heart and we're massaging our digestive organs, everything in our belly. So the other magical thing that happens when we take a deep breath, I think we've all had the experience where we have felt someone's intention, whether they put their hand on our back or shoulder for support, or if they sort of like directed a look at us that makes us want to like walk a little faster. We can feel people's intentions and we can feel our own intentions. Last week, we were doing some work with the chakras, and we were using breath to make some space in that chakra, loosen up that area, let the breath go, and then make an intention to fill in with some new energy. So the intention that we put into our body is received very well, especially when we're quiet and we're looking to receive something. And so I'm bringing that up because when we're filling our lungs with air, we're also oxygenating our blood. So blood is going to be coming into our heart, and then when it leaves our heart the first time, it goes to our lungs, and then it leaves our lungs and goes back to our heart, and then it goes out to our body. So when we're breathing in this intention of this moment for myself, or this massage for my heart, or this little bit of love for myself, in one deep breath, that intention is bringing that hope into our heart, in that feeling into our lungs. And it's going to be directly affecting our heart in this whole extra special way. So we're going to be filling our lungs with love that's going to pass on energetically to the blood, and that is going to in just a moment, enter into our body. So that value of the deep breath can affect us in a way where we have an intention of changing our blood, changing our oxygen level. And the other thing that we're able to change in just one deep breath is intentionally taking that breath. We're going to be taking over control of our diaphragm, which is in charge of our breathing. We're not always consciously aware of, I need to take a breath in, I need to take a breath out. So the very interesting thing about that muscle of the diaphragm is that it's controlled by our autonomic nervous system as well as our sympathetic nervous system. So we can control it, or it automatically does its own thing. And when we take over, when we do an intentional deep breath, especially a deep breath in, we're resetting where our nervous system is. We're beginning the cycle of switching it over. So when we're in a stress situation, that's going to be our sympathetic nervous system that is running from the dragon, running from the tiger, or getting ready for a stressful meeting or a stressful whatever. When we're in that mode, we are not engaging in digestion. Our blood is pumping to our muscles so we can run from the dragon. So when we're in the parasympathetic nervous system, our rest and our digest system, where we are not feeling stress, we're relaxing. Blood flow is not into our extremities, it's into our center body, to be able to be digesting the food, to be able to be resting, to be able to be relaxing. So we're either in one system or we're in the other system. And to move us, to help flip that switch back into rest and digest, the parasympathetic nervous system, we taking that deep breath, it helps that switch to start to flip over, where we're telling our body, we can relax right now. I'm taking over. I got this. I'm aware of all these things that are going on. I'm going to take this deep breath. We're going to get some oxygen in, and I'm going to encourage this center body to take over. I'm encouraging the parasympathetic nervous system to be engaged. And if we're already in a place of being in a rest and digest, where we're in getting ready for a meditation, or we're just starting our day, and it's our favorite day of the week, and we have our favorite company around us, taking that deep breath, we're breathing in that experience. We're literally bringing it into our body a little bit more so that we can experience it from the inside out. So the deep breath is an incorporating tool to bring in our environment from the outside, literally. And it also has that power of resetting our mindset, just one deep breath in and one deep breath out. And I think that the last thing that I want to talk about is the value of that intentional breathing, where I'm not sure if anyone has had that experience of the alternate nostril breathing, which is like a yoga relaxing technique. It helps. It takes a lot of focus, and there's a lot of attention on the breathing. And it's basically, actually, for some reason, I can't remember how to have my fingers. Yes. Using the fingers to adjust which nostril you're breathing in, breathing out of. And generally it is blocking one side and breathing in, holding that, and then breathing out the other side. And what that does is it's an exercise in focus, it's an exercise in the breath, and it's also an exercise in engaging the different parts of the brain and the different halves of the body to kind of encourage the chi, that life force that we have inside of us, to come into where it's needed. And that generally is the lungs as we're breathing, the head, the sinuses. Um, and it's a very fun thing to play with. Uh, and it's a very relaxing experience. And I think because there's so much focus that goes into it, but a couple cycles of that, and it's like a reset of all that is in your brain, in your heart, around you. The awareness is amazing. So I will probably do regular video on that alternate breathing. But as far as today, I would like to talk about or to just do a little bit of breath work. Last week, we did the breath work to open up the chakras and to clear the chakras and to welcome the balance into them. Um, Today, I'd just like to do the breathing with the intention of really focusing on the diaphragm and what's happening with that when we're taking a deep breath. And so um, I think it's helpful to use my hands. And anytime I'm paying attention to my body, I usually shut my eyes, which is what I was just doing here a minute ago. But putting my hand here on my ribs, I'm going to tip this down just a little bit. So I guess I need to go a little bit more. So here on my ribs, this is where my rib line is. So putting this here and then tracking, I'm going to probably have it like this, but however feels good to you, and tracking what the movement is in the body, and putting the intention down there to really engage the diaphragm. So as the diaphragm pulls down, we're going to be giving those lower organs a little bit of a squeeze and a massage. We're going to be hugging the heart because we're going to be pulling on that pericardium, giving a nice squeeze, and we're going to be filling our lungs in with all this new knowledge and all this awareness of all the stuff that's happening just when we're taking a breath. It's amazing. Our body is absolutely amazing. So focusing on the diaphragm, just breathing in through the nose and the mouth, whatever is easiest for you. And I like to do the breathing in a count of 4 breaths in. Try to hold it for 2 breaths if that works for you, and then at least 4 breaths out, and 5 is even better to kind of push out any extra that might be waiting to be exhaled. So paying attention to the diaphragm, breathing into the abdomen, feeling the change in that area of the body where the ribs come to an end. Those 3 breaths are signaling to the body that we're taking over and switching out of any sort of stress situation, the sympathetic nervous system response. And we're going to be taking over the autonomic nervous system, which is like our heartbeat, our eyes blinking, um, saliva in our mouth, all those things that automatically happen. Our diaphragm is affected by that. And when we're consciously engaging in moving that muscle, it switches that off. It switches that off to the awareness that we're taking over, and and we have the opportunity of switching out of the stress response into something else. So That's a lot. I was very intentional to keep this video much shorter than last week. My goal was the 15 minutes to 20 minutes. I do see some people on here. Let's see, what do we got here? Yeah, I don't know how to do this stuff. Let's see. I'm trying to see if I can start a chat. What's this? I am going to, nope, can't do it. Okay, and I'm typing in here, does anyone have any questions? I'm not sure. I hope I can see this. I hope you can see this. Again, computer stuff is not ask me anything about your body and I can talk forever and have a whole bunch of ideas, but computer stuff is not my thing. So my intention is this chat popped up. If anyone has any questions, I imagine that it might be able to be seen. Who knows? Um, but yeah, so that's a little bit of a chat today, a little bit of a talk to just discuss the value and how much we can shift in our body when we intentionally take a deep breath. So I will check in the comments and check this video for a few days. And these Let's Talk on Tuesday videos are going to be up on the website as soon as they're done doing their processing, whatever happens once I hit end the stream. So it'll be up there in a little bit. Okay, thanks so much. Have a great night.